The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply.
Alright, so this is the Flogcast for round 12. The emotionally checked out Tiger Starburns is here, and I'm joined by the White Knight of Redheads Everywhere from North Melbourne, Dan.
When have I ever been introduced first? I usually come in last.
Oh, big ticket.
You know, they didn't announce Michael Jordan first when the Bulls played. He always came out last.
You're not Michael Jordan. Cookson is.
You're not the Michael Jordan. You're the Jesus of the podcast, apparently. But the reason I did introduce you was so that next I could introduce your best friend, suburban netballer from Collingwood, Morgan Ashley.
Hello. Good to be here, my best friend.
And finally joining us, we have
the... Don't introduce him.
From St Kilda, we have the Flogcast resident sinner, Judas, whatever you want to call him.
This character assassination needs to stop.
Graceful.
Do we need an intervention for the two of you?
Brothers are a disgrace.
One's too emotional and one's not emotional enough. Do we need an intervention for the two of you before we begin?
No.
No, I don't think it's up to you, man.
No, you don't get to dictate that. I'm the one that agrees.
Dan, tell us some more about how Cookson hurt you with his actions.
Well, I thought we had a mutual understanding of friendship and togetherness the week before, and then that just all got shattered and thrown into a bin when the CUNT test that Cookson is just an absolute dog who laughed at my demise.
It's not a demise. Can we stop saying demise?
You didn't have a broken leg to begin with, and I feel that best friends hang shit on each other.
You're not best friends.
So if Dennis broke his leg and he was in a hospital, would you
Dennis isn't his best friend.
Well, who is his best friend?
James.
Well, whoever. James. No, James is the forgotten best friend. If he broke his leg, if that crying relative of yours broke his leg, would you be laughing at him?
It depends on how the leg got broken.
What?
Well, if it could be a sad way, then I'll be sad. But what if it's in a funny way?
How in any way can a broken leg be good or not deemed?
I guess when it's Dan's broken leg based off last week.
A broken leg can be funny. It just depends on how it's broken.
So Cookson's saying it's funny as long as it's not yours.
Yeah. Or as long as it's not really bad looking.
It doesn't look bad. It's not bad looking, so it's funny.
Well, say you get a broken leg because of, I don't know, ducks attacking you. That's funny. You can laugh at that.
But even if that did, I don't even know how a duck would break my leg. But even if
that's how Rangaloo broke his leg. So we jumped into him.
How is that?
Is that funny? Was that funny?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't
You're a
think
weird
so
individual. You and your brother are just a weird, strange lot. And I am dumber and more confused for knowing you two through this medium of podcasting.
I thank you, Dan.
So what are they of podcasts? They are the what of podcasts. Instead of Andrew Mackie, what are they?
They're the Loney brothers.
They're the Wachowski brothers or something. I don't know.
Wachowski? You're talking the ones that made The Matrix and one ended up a tranny?
Both ended up trannies.
They both did?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought only one of them did.
I thought only one did.
No, they've both gone off the deep end.
Yeah, well, Dan's obviously not cool with that.
I think they needed to chop a lot more things away from themselves before their dicks.
Yeah, so I feel we made some real progress today. So, now that we've done that...
We haven't made shit.
I feel like we need the number for a therapist. So, Charlie, if you can help us out, we need some kind of intervention to get the team back together.
So, yeah, we'll try and tackle this throughout the course of the season. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Like one week.
This isn't a shampoo ad, you moron. We're talking about my health, well-being,
and real feelings.
Real feelings. I mean,
You don't have feelings, Dan.
you can't.
Well, he does.
I think it's Cooks who doesn't have feelings. It's up for debate.
He
really.
does, and you really hurt them. And maybe that's why you can't say sorry and mean it, because you don't acknowledge he even has feelings. Maybe that's the root cause of this.
But Cookson didn't laugh.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Dan, do you have feelings?
Of course I have feelings.
Hurt once. Not a ginger. Yes, you are.
He's come a long way from the days of Red Lives Matter. Let's go to Guru Tears because that was a very interesting start. Who wants to go first on that front? I think we've had a bit of tears already, but
I'll go for Tom Phillips. And
Who's Tom Phillips?
exactly right. You don't even know. He is an unheralded footballer
You're
for the Collingwood Football Club who has had a fantastic season. And I'd like it to continue that nobody knows who he is because that's fantastic for us. But he's been great. And being in the top 8 is lovely. That's all.
Who was Tom Phillips? Let me Google this. This is this old guy on a stand. What the fuck is this?
what?
Oh, hang on, I'll put in
We
AFL.
had the wrong Tom.
There's an idea, dickhead. Probably wouldn't
There
be
we
the first
go.
Tom Phillips.
Well, I didn't know there were other more famous Tom Phillips. I mean,
Well, you
relax.
didn't know this one was famous.
He's not even famous. I don't even know who he is. Shut up. Oh, what's with the bloody Amish-looking beard? I mean, get stuffed.
I don't understand. Why did I come under fire then? Cookson names random St Kilda players that no one fucking knows and doesn't get in trouble.
But that's the entirety of
Their
St
list.
Kilda's list. Yeah, like you.
Oh,
there are-
sorry, I'll be more
at least,
predictable.
yeah, go with Pendlebury.
No. I
To
put
go.
a review for Mason Cox kicking a banana. Wow. If you've ever seen a 7-foot doofus try to kick a banana, it's an ugly situation. Anyway.
Uglier than Dan versus Cookson, I think. Who's next?
Oh, I'm going to have Guru. Return of the bag. Quite a lot of players kicked a bag of goals this week, which is always nice to hear. And also tears for J.R. Smith.
Oh, you nicked my
Oh.
tears.
Against Golden State, you've got LeBron yelling at you, and you do that fuck up. Jeez.
Was this the guy that went the other way when he had the ball?
Yeah, he thought they were winning. He didn't even know the score.
If you've been standing
Yeah.
at the free throw line for a minute, you've got time to look up on the thing and check the score.
Oh, but Americans, though, you can always count on their stupidity.
Oh, that was like. But the shoots and memes have been amazing. But you got to feel for LeBron. Like he's up against it so much, and he's done everything as we discussed last week to drag them to this point, and he drags them to that point, and some fucking doofus who he carried there can't do one thing. You had one job.
Ugh. It's at this moment you can tell he's gone.
I think he was already gone, but there was a perfect tweet. It said, imagine you train your whole life to put up 51, 8 and 8 in the first game of the NBA Finals on the road, and a guy on your team forgets what the score is in the final 5 seconds of the game. I think that's perfect. Like, there is not a single thing he could have done more, LeBron. He tried to call a timeout when the dickhead was running the wrong way. He did everything possible, and nothing helped. And the fact that charge was overturned was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel for him because they're going to get swept now.
Yeah, they're going to get swept now. That was their only chance.
Did like how he got a standing ovation and chance for MVP, though. Good banter there.
Yes, but just what a fucking dickhead. It's basically like Milne letting the ball bounce and denying Revolt and Hayes and some of the good blokes at St Kilda, not Goddard, but and Milne, who was a scumbag. But, you know, that's the football equivalent. Yeah, nah, so that was going to be my tears. Does anybody else want to go?
I have legitimate tears. And before I start, don't you laugh, Cookson. I was at the North Brisbane game on Sunday, and I saw one of the saddest, most depressing things I've ever seen at a football game. At halftime, when the Oz kickers were on the ground, I tend to watch like the one little game that's closest to me, and there was this one kid that for 20 minutes throughout the entire time they're on the ground, this one kid stood still with his hands behind his back and was motionless. Enough. And for whatever reason, that just made me really, really sad.
No emotion.
Because those kids
Future
are like
cooks.
ecstatic and really excited, like really, really happy to be. I was no different when I was very, very happy to be playing yacht. Well, it wasn't Oz Kick. It was like it was sponsored by Top Bread or something.
Tip top.
Tip
Tip-top.
top. The old tip top.
But this kid just was motionless, and I was like really depressed for this kid. And I'm trying to figure out why this kid's not doing it. Like nothing happened to him. I don't think anything was said to him. He just stood still.
No soul.
Hang on, stop. Who's churning something in a bowl?
Morgs. It's always Morgs. She's probably making cookies or something. She's done this before.
Can you pop your popcorn later or something?
Show some respect, best friend.
Shut up, Flogs. I'm stirring a hot Milo.
Oh god.
What are you staring at in a bucket?
How many teaspoons did you use? You know how many Aaron uses?
How many?
He doesn't use. No, he uses none. He just pours a little bit of milk on the top inside the tin and shakes it.
Well, I put 2 in, and then milk, and then heat it up, and then I put 1 on top, and that's it.
The 3.
Yeah.
So it's like 2% milk and 98% Milo.
No. It's 3 teaspoons, not tablespoons. I don't need your judgment. Shut the fuck up.
Since Cookson sort of stole my tears, I'm going to have tears for something else. If you're done, Dan, with your soulless kid.
I guess I am. I mean, does anyone have anything to say about it? Has anyone seen anything like that before? I mean, it's just...
I don't really watch the kids playing Auskick, but it's not uncommon for a kid to be sort of bored or have stage.
I usually go smoke darts, but that would have made me sad.
I've never seen anything like it. Like, all those kids, like I said, they're all excited and happy to participate. Like, this kid was just like a statue. And it was just, I don't know, it was really odd.
What if Tom Hawkins was like that kid's favourite player? Just trying to be his idol.
I don't know. It kind of got to me a little bit. Like, I'm trying to figure out if his parents were there or not and what they were thinking. Like, if I was that kid, my dad would be screaming.
Dan, stop picking flowers. Get up and play football.
How do you pick flowers on the... You're an idiot.
Go pick leaves off that tree, Dan.
Go back to character defamation and all.
I've got tears. So, for breakfast during the work week, I have toast for breakfast. And this toast I have comes from bread that I make in a bread making machine. And this evening when I made this week's batch, because I fucked up already because I forgot yesterday was Sunday. That's another story. Then I hadn't made it. And mine ended up mangled today. It literally, I don't know what went wrong, but it looked like something Suze would make. And it's basically preemptively ruined my week, because now I'm going to have to eat like fucking cereal.
Can't you just buy a loaf of bread from the supermarket?
It's not the same, man. If you've had it this way, it's just not the same. These loaves are gigantic. Like, the toast is so huge that I have to put it down for some of the time. Then when it comes up, turn it upside down to get the top toasted. It's great, but I don't have any this week. And
okay, well, the Starburns bakery is closed for this week. I mean, you'll just have to make do.
It's closed, and I'm not happy. I'm already feeling edgy about it. It's like withdrawals or something.
It's just bread, man. I mean, you'll live.
No, but it's... As someone with autism, Dan, you should understand how much a routine matters at times. And I enjoy starting the day off with motherfucking big slice of toast.
What do you put on the toast?
Just margarine. Just let it melt in. I'm not a Vegemite person.
Hey, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You got to start it off right.
Yeah, I reckon I'm going to be as miserable as Dan for the rest of the week now, because I'm not eating what I'm
But this
eating.
has got a touch of you sooking about the Fasolo thing last year. Can't you just fix the bread maker thing that you've got?
Well, I don't know what went wrong. I don't think the thing inside it that mixes it, it was all mushed to one side. It's like the thing that moves it around got stuck. So it better not fuck up next week. But it's pointless now because...
So it messed up once, it didn't... You can't just try it again and just have your bread for the week. I mean...
Yeah, but I'll have to make it tomorrow. Tomorrow evening.
Just if it's that important to you, I mean, it seems like it is, then just come on, doughboy, just mix the water and the flour and get going.
Yeah, it's not quite that simple. Anyway, I'm annoyed, so I'm in a shitty mood and I'm not up for any distractions this week. So that's everything. Let's go into the recaps.
Can you just give me a second? I'm just going to make a sandwich.
Go fuck yourself. The recaps, and we'll begin with Hawthorn broke their skids, the closest game of the round. They'd lost 3 in a row, but they're back on the winners list, winning down at the home ground of Tasmania. The Puffies, bit of air out of them. What do we got out of this game?
Over-umpired crap. There's some like 11 50-metre penalties like that, and it's just too much. And
Free kick Hawthorn?
Yeah, dead cheek ground.
Anybody else got anything out of this? I didn't see much of this game.
I didn't watch this game at all. So sorry.
I saw bits and pieces of it. Both sides look good, but not great. Robert Gray kicked 4 for nothing really much on this side.
That roughhead free kick was bullshit, though, wasn't it? Having seen that since.
Yeah.
I'll rip the sides of the game. That was bullshit. Put the whistle away. But yeah, I got nothing much out of that. Do we have anything else?
Nope. Next game.
The other team that bounced back this week was the Giants. Stopped an even longer run of losses, rolling the Crows over Adelaide Oval. What do we have on this one?
The Giants and the Crows game is another game I didn't watch. I don't watch much. This is supposed to be a footy podcast, but none of us seem to watch any footy. Have you ever noticed that?
We normally do. I don't know. Maybe the state of the game thing is real because I think we watched less and less this year than we used to.
I actually watched this game, though. It was alright. It was decent viewing. Apart from Mark Rasciuto managing to be the most useless cunt ever possible on a microphone. He says all the same things like, oh, jeez, oh, yeah, they really need the next goal, or he's having a good game in midfield. It's like...
Can't blame him. He's South Australian. He's talking how they need to talk there. They can't understand anything with more nuance than that.
That is true. Adelaide needed Bryce Gibbs last year, not this year. They're pissed away their flag chances.
Yeah, so they lost Lever, got Gibbs, basically, for the price paid, wasn't it? Essentially?
Yeah, and that doobie fella has gone in.
Dodie.
Dwayne Russell really liked saying his name.
The Dan did too, even though he was getting it wrong.
Dooday.
I said Dodie. Isn't that right?
No, it's Dooday.
No, it's Dodie.
So dirty would be D-O-D-E. It's Dooday. It's got the doubles, Dan.
Cookson, stop picking on Dan.
Yeah, you're just an asshole.
The other thing about this is it's interesting because the Giants keep the door ajar for themselves, but at the same time the Crows plummet into that no man's land of, oh fuck, we're in real trouble. We're in strife, chance of missing out. So the race for the finals remains interesting. I guess that's the biggest thing I take out of this game. But I think by the end of the year, both of them are going to regret losing to Essendon. All right, next game. St Kilda came from the clouds against West Coast.
I watched a little bit of this game, not much. Yeah, St Kilda, Jesus.
Yeah.
West Coast.
Played decent footy, build on that for the back half of the season.
I hear you got absolutely fucked by the umpires. Like, Alan Richardson, I think it was Alan Richardson, someone was going full plugger.
I think it was Robbo. There was a few sus umpiring calls, like Nick Nat getting free kicks and a bit of the old dodgy perf holding the balls, but can't really blame the umpires, can you?
No, you can't, but it doesn't mean people don't.
Wait, Tim Membry is back. He's kicking straight, thank God.
Tim Membry's back. You ready to call that?
He's back. Was he even there?
Has he arrived?
Who is this? He's the sleeve guy.
Yeah,
he's okay.
The one who can't kick, but then he did.
by
So now he's back.
Killer's standards, he's too good to be in the leadership group, but not crap enough to be in the leadership group.
He's not a nobody at St Kilda. He's not St Kilda's Tom Phillips.
No, he's not.
We've got Tom Phillips' brother Ed, though. We've got our random Phillips.
Is he as good as the one at Collingwood? Because I don't know who either of them are.
I think he's Ranger, so probably not.
He's had a harder upbringing. I think he's probably got more resilience.
They sound like this generation's Loney brothers,
Or Cookson brothers.
the Nobody brothers. You know what's sad? The Scott brothers were worse footballers than all those brothers, and they were more relevant than any of them.
If you open any article this week, even an article from the Perth Now, it says arguably the most improved player in the competition.
Yeah, remember he did have a big week, that's for certain.
Yeah, remember he did have a big week, so we've got to give him that.
You guys are dickheads.
Nothing else on West Coast St Kilda?
Nah, just good game of football. Surprisingly, it's a very underrated game to watch.
Oh, I made some coin on that game actually.
Oh, yeah?
Quietly. Yeah. Player performance bet where you end up having to pick two players to get either a certain amount of stats or kick a certain amount of goals. They had Membry and Gresham at 80-1 to kick 7+ goals combined, regardless of the result. They ended up kicking 8. I put $5 on it and I pocketed $400, so I'm happy with that.
Remember he really got there on his own.
So, Tim Membry, thank you.
That's St Kilda apologising to you, Dan, on behalf of Cookson, I think.
No, I don't see that as an apology, but thank you anyway. But thank you nonetheless.
Please keep betting on our games, Dan. You're a good luck child.
Let's go to, speaking of betting, Collingwood Freo's thrown Brownlow betting into chaos after Nat Fife has been rubbed out for a week. What have we got on?
Yeah, I saw that. That saw that incident. Yeah, he did look like he raised his elbow.
Oh, he's definitely meant it.
Yeah.
He might not have meant it when he jumped off the ground. He probably meant to punch it away the same way Greenwood did. But once he saw Greenwood beat him to it, he just went, "Well, fuck you, I'm going to make you earn it," and hit him high. And you can't do that.
No, you can't do that. Can't do that, Fife.
No sniping.
Fife. No sniping, Fife.
Nat's not going to win another Brownlow, unfortunately.
No.
That said, I don't think he deserves to after his performance the week before against North. That man does not deserve to win a Brownlow. Another one.
Well, there are less deserving people, but we won't get into that.
Well, you know the last time he got suspended for a Brownlow Pritis one, but we won't go there. No, I'm talking about the incident that came up Wednesday last week of when Nat Fife was too busy fixing his man bun to
go at the contest.
Yeah, to actually contest the live ball right in front of him. We obviously saw this. Dan, did you see this?
No, but if that indeed did happen, well,
it did.
It did.
Well, he's Fife. He carries that team, and he can do whatever he wants.
So he can give up on the game whenever he wants.
Well,
think of the culture, Dan. You got about leadership. It's all about efforts when you're captain, not dicking around with your hair.
Maybe he thought the hair would get into his face if he didn't correct it.
Well, then maybe he should just wear a fucking headband.
Yeah, or cut it, or maybe he should, wait till the next stoppage and just play like...
Wait for the next stoppage to get the haircut stylist to come out.
No, wait till the next stoppage to try and tie it up or something, or when he's resting forward or some shit.
Afan, can you fix this for me, please, and just put a little colour in my hair before the next bounce? Thank you.
They need to get Taylor Giray over to Freo to cut his hair. Fife's personal hairdresser.
Is he a hairdresser, is he?
Yes.
Taylor Giray. Oh. Well, there's your first open gay AF.
That was a pretty piss poor effort though from him, I felt, and I feel it needed to.
Yeah, they never looked in that game. They've given up.
They kicked 7 goals in the last quarter. They hardly gave up.
Nah, but that's just junk time goals. Collingwood knew they already won. They gave
we
up.
were 80-something points up. We knew
they lost before the game started. It looked very much like Adelaide in the tree ground from last week.
The tree ground.
Collingwood looked impressive. They're just building away, winning games.
You know what's interesting is that no one's talking about us. We're 7-4, and that's not.
They're a bit like Tom Phillips, aren't they? No one's really giving us a chance.
No, I think it's great. It's not newsworthy.
Right,
Being 7,
yes.
shut up, Dan, you piece of shit.
Under the radar.
I'm stop being your friend.
I don't lose anything. By all means.
You are nasty. I was your only friend.
Well, if you were my friend, you would have gotten me a cup of Milo as well, but you didn't. So you're inconsiderate.
I did. It's on the bench. I don't get it. Anyway, no one's talking about us.
They'll be talking about you if you roll Melbourne, though.
Yeah, they'll be talking about us either way next week.
The media have already got their stories lined up.
Yeah, already got their stories written.
Is this game the battle for the All-Australian ruck position? I think it is.
Apparently.
I think it is.
Yawn.
Max Gawn's going to take a massive dump on Grundy, I think.
I don't think you can rule out Sean Grigg.
Caleb Daniel, he can make a late run at the ruck position. It was nice seeing that Miller, my cock or whatever the fuck his name is kicking for.
My check?
Yeah, that was close. My cock. I would have gone with Mio Check. What's his name? How do you pronounce it?
My check.
My Check. Oh, that's close. Much closer than my cock.
That was a good story. There are a couple of good stories this week.
And what's a good story? It gives hope to other 25-year-old shit kickers in the VFL.
Just like Mirror earlier in the season and Eagles at the Bryans, you can get there.
Did Braden Maynard play well?
Yeah, when he first came back, he was okay. I've really gone off the hating of Braden Maynard, it must be said.
Maybe now that you're being so forgiving, you can let the Pendles alone.
No.
You love Tom Phillips?
I really like Tom Phillips, yeah.
You do? Oh, that's good.
I'm sure we'd all appreciate what he does if we just knew who he was.
Oh, well, Jimmy Bartell seems to know who he is. Loves him. Described him as a kid on red cordial. Quote.
What a glowing endorsement that is.
I know. That's what you want to be in life. The kid on red cordial.
The kid on red cordial.
Next we're going to talk about North.
Yeah. Well, other than the Depresso kid that did nothing during the Oz kick in front of me, North had a nice, easy. Well, it wasn't exactly easy. They should have won by 100 points, but they didn't. Yeah, it was Brisbane. They were away. We expected to win, and we won.
Is it just me, or I've noticed this with Brisbane, in particular in recent years, that when they come to Melbourne, if you can get 3 goals up on them in the first quarter, they just give up. Like, for all the positives we've been saying about them,
yeah,
it's amazing how easy it is to put Brisbane away early in Melbourne. And it doesn't matter who it is, but if you don't put them away like the Dogs didn't, they might stay with you for a while. But, once you get the roll on, they
fold like a deck of cards.
Yeah, it's just like for all the strides they're making, they do give up fairly easy on the road.
There is one negative out of this game that just puzzles me. Despite winning by 50-plus points, we went down the ladder after the end of the round. Don't know how that happened.
Who led you on percentage then?
We were 5th coming into the round, and by the end of it, we're 6th.
Geelong.
Oh wow, Geelong 5th.
Yeah.
God.
How did they get 128%?
They won by 85 points, and the Suns only kicked 4 goals.
Fuck off.
You can't have been far ahead of them to begin the round with if that's what happened. But yeah, you had a debutant, a Hearn.
Yeah.
Story.
He was good. The kid that's had 2 Readney constructions.
Readney constructions. He's had a track record of Readney constructions.
Hang on. What did I say?
Readney construction.
Readney construction. Is that not what?
No. It's a knee.
Knee reconstruction.
Knee.
That's what I said.
No, you said Readney construction.
No. Listen, I need a playback.
Do you dispute it?
I heavily dispute it. I don't think I think I said that pretty cleanly.
No.
This was about as clear as Cookson's laugh.
See, when you do this, I'm fearful of actually saying anything, and it's just everything I say just gets scrutinised heavily.
Not just everything you say. Fucking says the guy who went on the episode long witch hunt over apparently an indraw of breath.
I could keep going on about Ahern and the game, but
No, please go on about Ahern and his re-knee constructions that he's had and how it's a good story that he's back.
Well, why don't you talk about it?
Well, I didn't watch the game, so I don't really know how he went. I just know that he came in and you won, and he was apparently okay.
No, I didn't watch the game. I was just there for the Oz kickers, and then I left.
That's creepy.
That is creepy. Well, I shouldn't have said that. Shit. And I said re-knee construction, okay? I don't know why you guys were laughing at some... Whatever. He's had two of them, and he debuted, and he did all right.
All right, we'll move on to... Well, Melbourne put the dogs to the sword at Etihad. Another big win for them.
I wonder if their supporters are still bitching about that stadium. They must love it now that their team just wins there every week. Yeah, the Bulldogs are shit. I mean, they're just shit.
Lever did his ACL.
Don't laugh, Cookson.
I think Adelaide's done all the laughing on that already.
Yes, the Crows fans have really showed their class this weekend.
He'll be right. His motherly teacher girlfriend will nurse him back to...
At least Leah's actually injured, though, unlike you, Dan.
No, she'll help him with his homework, and everything will be all right.
Did anyone see what Beveridge came out with today? We shouldn't have won the flag. It was bad for the team.
What?
What kind of fucking stupid logic is that? Winning the flag was bad for the team. That's the pinnacle of this competition. The ultimate success.
Exactly.
Well, it did lead to a string of fucking 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds.
Hang on, no. Stringer being a dipshit has nothing to do with the team winning a flag. He didn't lift up the cup and then have some thought in his head, I need 15-year-olds, I need them now. Alright?
That's a very dumb thing to say. Does he really think they had a dynasty caliber list? Because that is the only situation you say that in.
Beveridge talking about his team winning the premiership. Oh, woe me, that must be terrible. He is a little fat man. He is. He's just got this biggish head and torso that's just stupid looking, and he's just a stupid coach with a stupid team. And
Stupid.
Did he have any rationale behind it?
They drunk their bathwater and ruined the club again. They're at rock bottom after 2 years because, as Morgs...
So I was right.
Bathwater.
So I was right the whole time that they were drinking their own bathwater. Look what they've done, ruined the club.
What else were you right about? Because there was something that you said, Morgs...
That the streak could be broken in first quarter.
Oh, yes, yes. The streak didn't last very long. Typical.
Oh, my God. This is the biggest wank fest over nothing.
It was such an obscure record that they were going for, and it got so much discussion, and it amounted to nothing, and it will be forgotten, and no one's going to give a fuck.
But we will. We will give a fuck.
They won't even have
had to listen to it all week, and they first quarter.
It's still the greatest thing in their history in 50-odd years.
Yeah,
that's pathetic.
Oh, they should release a DVD for it then.
You laugh about DVD releases for fucking non-accomplishments. Your club pioneered it.
At least
you
our
actually own a copy of that, Cookson?
I've never seen a copy of it in real life.
No, I
In your brother's bedroom.
No. I've never owned one, nor
Tears
have I
up
ever
watching
seen a
it.
copy of it.
That Nick Reholt's DVD of my second last game.
He got it from Name a Game before they closed down.
Name a game. Nick Reholt's last game at Etihad.
We really need to stop alienating the few listeners we have.
Nah, fuck them.
Nothing else on Dogs versus Melbourne, or do we want to keep going into the fact that Beveridge thinks winning the flag is like...
Well, there's not much you can really say. I mean, it's just an idiotic, stupid, moronic comment to make. I mean, it makes no sense.
Honestly, if we go with 18 years being that's your turn, half the competition are in that boat, and Beveridge is talking about the flag.
And they would all take a flag
Yeah.
if they knew the next couple of years would be dog shit.
Yes, absolutely you'd take that flag, because you know what? You might end up with 60 years of dog shit, or 37 years of dog shit, or in Collingwood's case 32 before they, or Geelong 44, you know. You might end up with those lengthy
St Kilda.
droughts. Oh yes, St Kilda 50 and counting, Melbourne 50 and counting.
Poorest club in the competition.
Oh,
Let's move on. Richmond ended Essendon's season. I think finally the Essendon supporters can slink away and blame Woosha for their problems. Good on ya.
Essendon got gifted a piss-easy draw this year because they're a pack of cheating cunts.
You mean last year?
Desperately, this year and last year, and they're still a pack of giant fucking chokers.
I was actually talking to an Essendon supporter on Sunday who basically said it's Hurley's fault. As soon as he goes in there, into their back line, they don't move the ball. And he's not playing on a man, he's not really doing anything of value to them. He's just a waste of space. Worst. He actually said worst at all Australian of all time.
So Hurley has this magical sort of influence on what the midfield and the forward line does.
I guess it's more a symptom that, yes, he makes it harder for them, but they're not very good anyway. Their midfield's so vanilla. It's the most vanilla midfield in the competition.
Yeah, it's either Essendon or Richmond, I would say.
Fuck off. We have 2 Brownlow medalists in our midfield, you dickhead. And we have Shane Edwards.
You have
and
don't mention Shane Edwards, please. You have one Brownlow medalist and the other one who stole one from
Stop endorsing drug cheats, Dan.
And I'm not, but he did win a Brownlow nonetheless.
No, he didn't. But that's like saying Lance Armstrong. That's like saying Lance Armstrong's Tour de France are worth it.
No,
Because
are you comparing Joe Watson's season to
yes,
one of Armstrong's yellow Guernseys?
yes, they're the same thing.
One blatantly took steroids.
And one did and had the coaches shred the records.
Joe Watson wasn't taking performance-enhancing drugs.
So why was he such a crab when he came back, when he was no longer getting injections? And
Because he's
before he got-
old and he's finished.
No, because he was always a crab and he had 1 year out of the box because they were helping him out. It's fairly obvious.
Anyways, back on the game. Where was he?
Cochin?
Yeah, where's Trent? Your team had an easy win and your leader went missing.
Yes, I'd much
Again.
rather he stepped up in the other games that are a lot harder than the easy games where someone else can carry the load.
Oh, okay. All right.
He still had like 16 or 17 touches or something.
Yeah, what a start he had. What about Rancy Boy and his diving?
Yeah, that wasn't a good moment from Rance.
No, it wasn't a good
Second one for the year, pretty piss poor.
yeah. Let's not pretend it was the first. Like, he has a track record.
He does have a track record, and it's not good enough. You don't need to do that.
Shane Edwards managed to play a good game in like first time in a few years.
First time since the grand
Really?
final, Dan?
Are only Indigenous players eligible for that award, or what?
No, he's actually the first one to have won it in the 12 years it's been running.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
I've never paid attention before.
Yeah, I was thinking Titch is going to win it, and it's going to be the first Richmond Indigenous player to win it. But I thought that
Please, if you're going to go with nicknames, go to the Richmond podcast.
Edwards was going to win it, and I was thinking this is the first time a Richmond Indigenous player is going to win it, because I don't think we'd had any Indigenous players or any redheads win it before that. But I thought Essendon Ryder might have won it, but apparently no one from Essendon had either. So yeah, it's been going for ages, but he's the first Indigenous player to win the Boomerang.
So Dean
Yeah.
Polo won awards before Indigenous players.
Yeah, and so did Jason Winderlich, who actually he's got red hair, so he's probably Indigenous.
That best on ground award has not started that well with Polo and Winderlich.
There's a few dusty wins in there, Deledio, Koch and a Hurd, before he disgraced himself. Goddard's won it.
Oh, David Hill, we have the LGBT community represented.
Yeah, it's a bit all over the place, but then again, you look at the Anzac medal, there's some names there, like Mark McGough.
Cupido. What do you think of the haka? The ABBA haka?
Maybe it didn't show up on TV. Did you see the guy who was way too committed to it and actually fell into the person sitting in front of him?
You talking about the guy that had an icy pole stick through his nose?
I don't know. You know how they sort of charged at him? The ones that were sitting down?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one guy that overcommitted and basically fell. He was in the very foreground. He basically fell on the person sitting on the ground. Got a little bit too excited, I think.
I didn't watch the ABBA haka, Dan.
Well, it was odd because it was filled with white people doing the dance.
Oh, stop. Oh.
Dan, you sound like my mum, who decided she would loudly question as to why the white people were dancing on the ground.
Well, why is it like in recent years we're seeing a lot of people who clearly don't look Indigenous but are claiming that they are?
Oh, boy.
Why is that?
Maybe because we bred them out.
There needs to be an Indigenous rule when it comes to sport, right? A line, and the line is very.
The anti-Rooney rule.
It just needs to be very, very simple. If you don't look like Relton Roberts, then you can't claim Indigenous. Okay, so you either have to. If you're Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody, or Majak Daw, you can claim.
What?
Majak Daw's not Indigenous. You fucking moron.
Everyone else.
Sudan.
Sudan, it's just east of Alice Springs.
Right? It needs to stop.
You're an actual idiot.
Yeah, dead set. And you feel like we victimise you, but when you say shit like this, how could you expect anything different?
You know I'm wrong. I mean, I know you guys haven't got the nerve to agree with me, but there's just
We've got the brains not to agree with you.
No, there's just too many people that are claiming that there's something that they're not, right? And it's just...
Yeah, like you claiming that you're not a racist.
I'm not a racist.
But
I'm really not. No, I'm not. Do you know what the definition of a racist is?
Dan.
yeah, tell us the definition, please.
Blatantly intolerant of people of colour or religion.
Like telling them that they can't be who they are because you don't think they should be.
That's not who I am in real life.
Because their hue is not dark enough for your
very
liking.
easy to get along with. I am easygoing. I get along with everybody. I've a lot of friends who are of different colour, family members.
I'm not racist, but I have lots of Indigenous friends.
I do. Primary school. And he was good at footy. No, but I'm cool. I get along with everyone.
I'm cool.
So if you take the mickey out of Jews or Muslims or redheads, I mean that's fine, but you can't any colour.
Who took the mickey out of Jews or Muslims?
Well, everyone here has at some point. I know.
No, I don't think I've said a lot about 4x2s. But no, I even said muzzle top on the weekend. I'm not racist.
Just because we said Goldstein wasn't very good at football.
That's not racist.
Racist, absolute racist. You're worse than me.
Anything else on Richmond Essendon rants? I think that's where we were before Dan decided to. Well, I don't think educate's the word, but
It's not. It's not educate.
outrage.
Being an all-round dick.
Dan put his hood on. Actually, since we're talking about racists, what about the Melbourne Football Club?
What do they do?
They didn't wear their Indigenous jumper in Indigenous round.
Oh, because they wore it the week before.
That is disgusting. I hope someone holds them accountable.
What if they wore it the week before? Don't they have washing machines?
I think it's because
clash?
teams want to have their Indigenous Guernsey for their own home games because North Melbourne did it. I think.
No, North Melbourne wore it twice.
Yeah, teams want to do it for their own home game. I don't know why.
Yeah,
They didn't not wear it in the round. They just wore it twice.
Anything else on Richmond Essendon?
No.
I'm not racist.
Sure.
No, I'm not. I'm really not.
Colours were fairly unconvincing in putting Carlton away, I thought.
Not a good Friday night game, but
It's never a good Friday night on Carlton.
No, I didn't watch this game because I just don't want to watch Carlton on a Friday night. It's just nuts.
Jack Silvani was okay. He looked like an AFL footballer for half a game.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it because I didn't watch this game.
I don't think there was much out of this game, although did anyone catch the Rampy comment after the free kick against?
Oh, hilarious.
That was
Absolutely
brilliant.
hilarious.
I like also the fact that the umpire didn't go full butthurt and go, you can't say that and pay 50. That's just seeing it for what it is, going, yeah, well played, and just letting it go.
Yeah. Very funny.
But that was probably the highlight of the game. Rampy taking the piss out of the umpire, which says a lot.
Sorry, someone fell over.
Someone at work had a Humpty Dumpty moment. Are they alright?
No broken legs?
Are they going to sue the workplace? Do them. Do it.
Because if they've broken their
Money,
legs,
man.
some can have a laugh about it.
Get the money. No, you shouldn't laugh.
Hmm?
Right? It's not nice. People hurt themselves and it's
Shut up.
they need support. You shut up, Wolf.
Both shut up.
MCC.
Oh, I'm not the one that fell over, dickhead. Told me not to fall down the stairs. What a cunt.
Yeah, you could break your leg.
Yeah. Don't. This is the worst place to break a leg because people will just will tear you to shreds.
I did my Achilles, no one laughed.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it was a bad injury.
Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
You're not a cunt. Not a racist.
I'm not a
What are you
racist.
I thought you were going to loot that, but you just went straight into it. You're not a cunt.
Don't say I'm not a racist. It reminds me of that song Starburns. Raskolnikov.
Geelong belted, as we've already discussed, belted. Gold Coast, we mentioned it. Gary's return, he downhill skied.
He got
His old team.
booed.
Yeah. There was 17,000 of them turned up to boo him. The whole fan base was there.
They got 17,000 people to that game.
It's impressive for a team that's fucking no good.
I'd like to assume that Bosk just went up there for different propaganda, just to fuck with people. Try and get everyone to boo Ablett.
You probably didn't go up there to get people to boo. You probably stayed home on Big Footy.
Talking points time. Did anybody see that the AFL are going to revisit the racial vilification policy?
I know.
No.
I'm screwed.
They're going to rewrite it.
Well, is there something specific that they're talking about, or is it just generally?
I think they're just revisiting it, so it might have something to do with the Joel Wilkinson thing, but just so that all races feel that they're more properly looked after. You know, I think the current policy didn't really cover the redheads, for example.
Oh, well, it shouldn't it? In this political correctness era of all things.
Well, they had it hard as they had to move schools. Some of them might have had to move clubs.
That's right, and you shouldn't say that being disingenuous. You should be serious.
I'm not being disingenuous. I'm a very serious man.
I think you are. No, I don't think you are. You like to take the piss out of people. Redheads have it hard too, man. Red lives matter.
So I've got a story to tell, right?
Oh, story time with Morgs. Here we go.
Yeah, well, so a girl that works for the company I work for lost a bet last year, and as a result had to change her name by default, and her middle name is now Tiger, because she lost a bet on the grand final, and so she is now blah blah blah. Her middle name is Tiger. So that has encouraged myself and my manager to make a bet. So if Melbourne win the grand final this year, I had to change my name to Demon.
So
And
Morgan Demon.
Morgan Demon.
Well, actually, it's not my last name, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, but okay. So it would be Morgan Demon, whatever.
Do you keep your current middle name, or do you add it? Are you adding a middle name, or are you replacing?
No, I will replace my middle name
So, it'd be-
with Demon.
so will your big footy name change to Morgan Demon?
Yes, I will use my big footy name change to become Morgan Demon.
Oh, trade draft, they're going to like that.
Yeah, great. And if Collingwood win the flag, my manager will be Jaden Magpie.
And if neither win the flag, you just keep, life goes on.
I think we might just continue this bet until one of our teams wins the flag.
But don't you have to go and do all this other shit if you change your middle name? Like you have to change your driver's license and update all the necessary things.
Yes.
Yes, it's not as simple as going onto Facebook, Dan. Just changing your name.
I know that. Well, I'm like most people. I've never changed my name, and I'm just wondering what the...
Used to be Dane, didn't you? You also dropped the 26 from your name.
What are you talking about? I never had a 26. Oh, not that guy. Piss off. Dickhead. Come on.
Dan 26.
So, You do have to change quite a few things, don't you, Morgs?
No, I had a look at it. I'm not actually quite sure if I'll be allowed to use the name Demon, because there are certain restrictions in Australia as to what names you can have. So there's a fair chance that I won't be able to have Demon, and it might just have to be D or something.
Just try Seaman.
So what's... Magpie's probably going to be in the same boat, so what's it going to be? Maggie?
Maggie and D.
Maggie and D.
Which is not that bad for me, considering I'm female. I'm just going to have a middle name of Maggie.
Be very confusing. Very Hannah Mountain.
Hilarious.
The only other talking point that I really came up with was the Hall of Fame. Anything on this?
The hell let Terry Wallace in?
Yeah. Did he get in as a player or a coach?
He had a 5-year plan for nomination.
I mean, the 5-year plan wasn't that good. I mean, it was it was nothing but failure for Richmond. Was he any good of a footballer? He must have been.
I do believe he was. Well, if you honestly, there are some guys who, like, I keep coming back to it every year, but Michael O'Loughlin.
Yeah, he shouldn't be in it. Mark Bickley.
Luke Darcy.
Yeah, there's a lot of duds, but I mean...
Nick Max will probably be in there one day.
Oh, jeez. It's a giant fucking dud.
He won't. I just really said that to see how you reacted to it.
No, but I know you're joking, but he's every chance to get in.
No, he only played like 200 games as a loose man in defence. That's even by Hall of Fame standards, that won't get you in.
No, he'll get in. Glove man to filled space. He was brilliant at it.
The GWS player introducing Sheedy was probably the most awkward thing I've seen a player do.
Who was it?
I think Zach Williams or someone like that.
That's weird.
Should have got Satanta.
Or potatoes. I don't know.
Could have kicked him in the balls on the way out.
Who got Derek Kicker to do it?
Oh,
They became friends again.
They made up.
Anyway, nothing else on the Hall of Fame? Anyone who went in?
No.
He was, he's deserving. Scarlett getting in the Hall of Fame was deserving. Who else got in?
David Needs.
Borderline, but not. I mean, there are worse players than him that have gotten in.
Worthy of a cheering off? Is that the criteria? Get off, you can go in the Hall of Fame.
If you get a cheering off, and if you're one of those players that absolutely deserves it, in like the 90s or early 2000s, then you deserve. If you get a cheering off in today's football, you don't necessarily deserve to go into the Hall of Fame, because there are just absolute shit trucks like Greg that get a cheering off for their 200 game,
Premiership rugby.
other shit truck players.
I don't have any other talking points. Does anybody else have any?
I've got a talking point.
Mm-hmm.
So, last year after we lost again on Queen's birthday, every Collingwood supporter in the world cracked the shits about the fact that it was their home game, just because we were angry we lost, and we're like, fuck it, we're not giving them the money anymore. And so Eddie came up to the plate and went, you know what, we're not giving them the money anymore. From now on, it's going to fucking alternate. And so there's an article on the AFL website saying Demons pies at odds over Queen's birthday home games, because Eddie said, yeah, it's alternating, next year's our game. And they've come back and said, no, it's not. You don't do the fixture.
So Eddie's ended up with egg on his face.
No, I don't think so. I just think that they're trying to weasel. Peter Jackson is trying to weasel his way out of it, and then use the quote, Collingwood should do their analysis carefully about where their net position will be after all of this. If they give up one of these to if they give up one of those to get the Queen's birthday game on alternate years, they're going to have to give up something to get something. We would encourage them to do that analysis first, and the AFL to do that analysis. Now, with all due respect, there is no due respect. You don't deserve our respect. Don't tell us how to run our club when the AFL has to tick off the boxes about whether you're allowed to buy toilet paper, you pieces of shit. Do your own analysis.
Well, with all due respect, Peter Jackson is like the equivalent of Peter Little when it comes to wealth and company running.
Who's Peter Little?
He's the guy. He was the Essendon dude, wasn't he?
No, his name was not Peter.
What was his first name again?
Patrick.
No,
Patrick. Oh, what was his first name?
I don't know, Dan, but if you're going to come at me, at least know who you're talking about.
You know,
His
yeah,
name's
but you know who
Paul.
I'm talking about. So, Paul Little, there you go. Peter, Paul, the same thing, whatever.
No, Dane, it wasn't the same thing.
Hey, I'm happy to be called Dane. I've been called far worse things on this podcast.
Like racist, because that's true.
It's not. No, it's not true. I'm not racist.
But
No, there is no but. I am just. That's just the way it is. I'm not racist.
And I like the quote from Maguire that said, "There's no need for us to be generous. We no longer give them money. The AFL takes it. These are the unexpected consequences of equalisation."
you know that the AFL aren't going to do it. Like, it's a lot of puffing, but they won't do it.
They won't what? Give us...
They won't give you the home
alternate?
game. They won't do it.
Yes, they will.
No.
Let's make a bet.
Oh, isn't this petty? This sort of shit. Isn't the Queen's
Well, it's
birthday
charity
now
thing.
become?
No,
it's
this is what clubs who want to make money do. They
Yeah,
financially
but
posture.
isn't the like the Neil Danaher thing sort of more important than the whole?
Yeah, but that doesn't have any
That will
impact
still
on the
occur.
bottom line of the...
Yeah, but that's where. But my point is that's where all the attention should be going instead of who's getting what and who's missing out. Sort of.
But,
Yeah, but
the-
it is
this,
all down.
this existed before. Like, the Queen's birthday game existed before Neil Danaher was sick.
I don't know. I mean, just sort it out. Don't be greedy.
Don't be greedy. One team's had it for 17 years. You're right. Don't be greedy.
Well, okay. Well, what do you want? Do you want a league where you just play by yourself? You need competition.
Why should they get a home game against us?
Because
17
you
times in a
travel
row?
once or twice a year and you play every other game in Victoria.
They're playing at their home
We
ground.
don't need the Collingwood oh woe me story. You're going okay.
Yeah, you don't get it, but you keep being me. No, we're no longer friends.
Oh shit! I'm
Way to
screwed now.
ostracize the only person that was on your side.
I'm with you, Dan.
No, I don't want you with me. You can-
Beggars can't be choosers, man. Maybe Cookson will help out, though.
No, I don't want Cookson. I don't want Morgan as my friend. I don't want. What's your name from the Seven Dwarfs? Which one were you aligned to? Is it happy, bashful, sleepy?
Sick. The
Sick.
eighth dwarf. Sicky.
the sticky dwarf. There was this one dwarf that was just always sick.
Sneezy. Wasn't there a Sneezy?
Oh,
Oh, there was
you.
Sneezy. That's it. Sneezy. Yes. You are Sneezy. There you go.
You are dopey. Or racist.
There was not a dwarf that was racist.
Grumpy.
Walt Disney was the racist. Your dad's grumpy. Question time. The game 1981 wants to know, is there any possibility that the Giants' 2018 season could be the equivalent of Geelong's 2006 season, a crap season before several premierships?
No.
No,
No, players going home.
No idea.
they're coming home.
I've said it many times. It's a team that just will never win flags.
Question from Bosk. Do Hawthorn
No.
8 50-metre penalties constitute grounds for South Australia to secede from the Union due to a Victorian umpiring conspiracy?
Haven't we already already decided to just have Adelaide as an extended version of Geelong? Well, maybe we could just cut South Australia out like a piece of cake, and they could just drift down the earth. See you later. Give them a push, and they can just float down to the South Pole.
Yeah, like that GIF. Or we could just do it with borders, like how the Vatican City's surrounded by fucking Rome and like Italy and
Build a wall. We can just do Trump's idea and just build a wall.
around South Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, Adelaide bought a baseball team.
The Crows.
Yeah.
Australian baseball team.
Yep.
Better than esports, I guess.
Branded then. They took
yeah.
ownership of the Adelaide Bite.
How's Essendon's esports team going? Is it made them rich yet?
Maybe that's why that kid was so dejected. He went to Etihad Stadium and there's no esports on.
Oh, he'll soon get his Marvel anyway.
So the Crows have bought a baseball team.
I wonder if they'll do the stance when they come up to bat. Baseball is proven and is a proven and popular sport in the United States and Asia, and it expands our brands and footprint offshore.
Yes, because everywhere watches the Australian Baseball League. Fucking dead. There's like...
Nobody here watches it.
Yeah. Nobody anywhere watches.
There will be a minimum of 40 ABL games broadcast into Korea. Oh no, the Crows are going to Korea.
Oh god, I'm in Korea. Here we go. West Japan shit fights.
So the latest stages of Korean Wars will be set at Adelaide.
So Adelaide now has 4 teams: AFL, AFLW, Esports, and Bite.
Oh god.
So why wouldn't they name their esports team the Crows and their baseball team the Crows?
What did they call him?
Well, the Adelaide team's called Bite. The Adelaide Bite.
That makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, so you're not even branding them to brand with your club, and the esports team's called Legacy. So,
What a stupid fucking
I
name
don't
that is. Legacy.
This is what happens when your club is born in a boardroom.
this is what happens when you're in a 2-team town. You've got a lot of money and nothing to do with it.
AFL should probably strip more money away from the Crows if they're willing to waste it on all this shit.
Give it to St Kilda.
Yeah, we can at least spend it on some dwarves or something. At least it'll go into the economy.
No, that's absurd.
What is baseball? I don't even know what baseball is.
It's
What?
rounders,
What?
more extreme.
Baseball we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what baseball is.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, excuse me.
Have you seriously never seen anything baseball
He
related?
has. Don't, Cookson, don't.
I've never seen baseball before. I don't know what it is. I could Google it.
Yeah, that's about as
If you
believable
get-
as your broken fucking leg.
Obviously, I know what baseball is. It was just me over-exaggerating my lack of interest or acknowledgement of the sport itself, because it doesn't exist in this country, and it's just it's a boring game. I mean, and they catch a ball with a glove, and they're all soft. Piss off.
Are they going to have a basketball team soon enough, though? That's the real important question.
What's that?
You've never seen basketball?
I reckon a basketball team would be. Like, I'd be totally down for that. Why did no one ever try and turn baseball into a real sport?
Because we
Yeah,
have
they
to.
turn dodgeball into one.
They turned fucking Quidditch into one.
Esports.
Why did no one make basketball? Like, the premise of it is awesome. You can be the least athletic bastard in the world as long as you can just lob a ball through the hoop and be a fucking gross cunt.
Because people aren't as visionary as us.
Gornage wants to know, should there be harsher penalties, i.e. suspensions for diving, particularly for repeat offenders such as Rance?
Yeah, he should have gotten 3 weeks. Really, we can't have that. It's just not a good look. This isn't soccer. This is Australian rules football.
Yeah, we don't punish diving enough. For obvious things, it should be a week suspension, minimum. Then having to be hung at Burke Street Mall and have rotten fruit picked at you.
Is it a 3-strike system at the moment?
Yeah.
You do get suspended on the 3rd.
It's like $1,000 fine, $5,000 fine, and I think suspension.
I'm happy with the 3-striker. That repeat offenders, 3rd strike he got. So he's looking towards that. Saltpeter wants to know, I don't get the reference here, was poor dental hygiene responsible for Ross Lyon's fallout with the young female staffer? I don't know this story.
He was flossing in the box.
Oh, fuck, I missed that. Yep, yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that. I wouldn't want to say that.
So I guess this guy's suggesting that Ross asked her if she wanted to come back to his...
Well, I guess if he can answer his question, maybe the dental hygiene should stay at home, and your creepy sort of way you interact with people should probably stay at home as well.
Well, this is it's so... No wonder Nat Five spends all his time fixing his hair up on field when Ryan, instead of coaching, is too busy fucking flossing his teeth. It's a cultural thing. They're just too concerned with other shit other than what they're meant to be doing. Last one, K4E, fairly plain question. Who makes the top 8 and top 4 from here? I can't be really that fucked with this. Can anybody?
That's the fucking main board question. We don't answer those on here. We're not answering it.
Top 8 will be Carlton, Brisbane, St Kilda,
No.
Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs, Freo, Essendon, GWS.
Cookson,
There you go, there's fucking 8.
no, he doesn't even deserve a jockulative response.
Anyway, Morgs has been waiting for this moment. This week on The Bay, But we will go with thread of the week first. I'm going to go the obvious answer, and I do believe this one absolutely deserves to win. The obsession tracker's back. Very informative. Yes, I hope he continues with it this year because it was quite lousy the last time round. It just would be nice if it was finished off, but I like the idea of tracking who's making the most threads about who. And I'll come to my Flog of the Week nomination later in regards to that. Who else has got to go?
The B13 compendium of glory hunters who changed clubs was a good thread.
Yes, that.
Bender's thread got a good bump. The Nat Fife one about being an openly gay footballer.
What else we got? What's this one from Craffles? Life After Football.
It's about Alex Rance.
Yeah, not bad. You know what, Craffles? You can have an honourable mention. That's the funniest angle I've seen on it since.
Yeah, well, on Crapple's way to compile everything that's already been on Facebook.
Oh, How to Quote a Post with Zanman got a bump too. Always a good one, that one.
Yeah, I really like the return of Sandman.
I reckon the Obsession Tracker wins it because at least it's taking note of all the shit threads and making people accountable, Dan, so you'd like that.
Yes, because that's what we need, people being accountable for their actions.
Flog of the Week time. Do you want to go last, Morgs, or do you want to go first?
Yes. Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
Chisholm.
Uh-oh.
Chisholm, you fucking coward loser. I got a notification that Chisholm has replied to your post, and I thought, that's weird. I'm not talking to you. What do you want? And he quoted my post in the Jordan De Goey versus Jaden Laverde thread. And he said, you bumped this. Yeah, good. So you bumped this because the Bay 13 posters. Shut up. You did not.
No, my vote says De Goey.
Yeah, now I've got screenshots. You'll never get away with this. So you bumped this because of Bay 13 posters' responses that you thought trolled you. I didn't think trolled you. They did. Even though Laverde is injured and has struggled to play 6 games this season. Keep your discussion in the Bay, and this is not the place for it. And then he closed the thread.
Yeah, that's a very serious sort of over-the-top response. Very forward press of him.
I sent him a PM titled "So Brave." If you're going to have a go at somebody, don't close the thread so they can't reply, you coward.
That's sort of how the last post in the closed thread works, though.
No. There was no need to close the thread. Both players are playing. It's not like one's terminal.
You should start a Nathan Freeman versus
Jordan De Goey thread.
Hey, leave Freezer out of this. What did Freeman do?
And then he was like real condescending in the PM and called me like mate and shit. And then he called me champ. I said, good to know you've handled this so well.
I'm gonna I can't remember what he's going by now, but the boys. Fair dinkum. Crowbro. 21 threads about Geelong this year. You're making us look bad, you fucking idiots. I knew it was a lot, but that is insane. 21 threads is more than most people would start in the whole year about everything. That's how many.
Yeah, I don't think I've made that many threads in like 3.
And I reckon some of those have been merged. I think for a brief period we had a stream of consciousness thread for him going. I think a few of his got merged or deleted or whatever. So
can't you just put him in the house of cucks and just leave him in there, caged up?
It's tempting, but at the same time,
he's the flog the Bay needs.
If he's going to leave with his chin, he deserves to cop the shit for it.
If you don't have people like that, then you have nothing.
The ecosystem falls apart. You need plankton.
No, the ecosystem will be
Someone's got to be at the bottom of the food chain, Dan.
It's not fine. It's not fine.
No,
he's keeping us alive.
With people when it comes to spiders, and then the same people end up telling me, but if you take away spiders and the ecosystem buggers up and everything goes to shit. Yeah, and people will say, oh, but you'll get extra bugs and mosquitoes and shit like that, and ants and things like that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm willing to have a few more of those if it means all the spiders in the world are gone. He's the spider, and he needs to go.
Spiders kill people.
21
Correct.
threads.
I can't actually think of anyone, but
Nominate yourself.
why would I do that then? Why?
Nominate your brother.
Because you're an asshole. I don't like you.
Can't nominate
But
Dan.
I'm not a racist.
We nominate
I
Dan
nominate
for
you
being
for
racist.
racism.
Yeah.
I'm not racist, and you're not black. So
Yeah, leave Indigenous man Cookson door alone.
did I hear that right? Indigenous man, cooks and door man.
Majak Cookson? He's Indigenous.
Everyone is.
I'm not a ranger though, Dan.
Anyway, I think we can give it to Chisholm. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it to Chisholm.
Dishonourable, Doug Provo. Fuck.
Want to be bloody policeman on the main board.
Polls board, actually.
Polls board. Oh, he's no longer a mod on the main board.
Hasn't been in like 6 years.
I wonder. I thought he's gone a bit quiet because where all the criticism came from was all the main board stuff. I couldn't care less what mods do on the polls board. But, yeah.
Polls, the good old trolls board. Isn't that the point of the trolls board? Is to just bump threads like that and make threads like, you know, blah blah. Like make a thread like someone Jordan Nago or Nathan Freeman. Like that is the typical polls board thread.
I make stupid threads on the polls board just to see how long they last.
I made a thread on the polls board with an alias and it got banned.
Well, wasn't it?
Who was the poll? Oh, Brad Scott or Ken Hinkley?
Who won the poll? Just out of interest.
What? Brad Scott, because I voted once and then it got shut down.
Alright, I think Chisholm wins. Let's go to next week's games and Dan the tips.
I you know what? I actually think it's someone else's turn. Just quietly.
Wow, but you've been doing it so long.
How many rounds are we in? This will be round 12, and every week it's like, Dan, I think it's your turn.
But it is.
All right. What's the first game? It's the first lot buys, isn't that great? Port Adelaide versus Richmond. I don't know. I might go with Port Adelaide. Geelong versus North. I pick North. Giants versus Suns. Giants. St Kilda versus Sydney.
He's under your bed.
I'll pick Sydney.
Brian Sessenden.
I don't care.
Freo Crows.
I don't care.
You're the worst tipster we've ever had, Dan.
I agree 100%. I don't even know why I'm doing it.
Probably to redeem yourself for your racism earlier. And finally, Melbourne versus Collingwood in Melbourne's home game.
God save the Queen.
Just one thing before we wrap up. All 18 coaches going down the slide. It's in the ice water. Do we have anything on that?
Simultaneously or
No,
one by
like
one?
one after the other.
Is Stewie Dew going last? Cause
You would think so, because if he doesn't, whoever goes after him is going to get hurt.
Not to
Yeah.
mention, the crowd will be getting wet as well. It'll be the big freeze at the G, literally.
Out of all the 18 coaches, who is most likely to piss in the cold water?
Ross Lyon. But, oh no, he won't piss in there. He'll have a wank in there.
It feels weird that Buckley and Goodwin will be doing it.
Mm.
They probably shouldn't be. I'm not going to understand them being like, would rather not.
No one's more or less advantaged than the other in that situation. Maybe they can go down holding hands same time.
I'm just interested to see Ross's button bosoms in swimwear.
Are they all going to wear their normal attire, or are they all going to dress up?
They're gonna dress up.
No, they're
to
dressing
some
up.
degree. Sorry?
Someone said they were going as Mick Fanning. I can't remember who that was. And apparently Jack's choosing what Damien Hardwick wears.
They should put a shark in the water. A little shark. Like one of those gummy sharks that end up...
Imagine Don Pike's eyes. Imagine Don Pike hits the eye.
He just emotionlessly slides down into the water and just no expression at all as he lands in there. Just gets out like Skinner in that Simpsons episode where he walks through the river. The Pike just emerges dearly
It
faint.
just looks like a Terminator.
Yeah. Anyway, this was the Vlogcast for round 12. Starburns, joined by Cookson,
Goodbye.
Dan,
Au revoir. Goodbye. Farewell.
and Morgs.
Oh, farewell.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you all next week.